You want to heal, but sometimes you feel so much resistance to doing the things that you know actually work to heal the fearful avoidant attachment style. So in this video, we are going to dive into 5 reasons why you feel resistance. I am Paulina. I am so happy you are here because understanding why you feel resistance can help tremendously in your healing journey. The healing journey doesn't just consist of healing the things that traumatized you, the things that caused the triggers, the deep core wounds, the patterns, the mechanisms. The healing journey, a lot of it is also healing or releasing the things that keep you from healing easier and faster, because your body kind of knows what to do when to heal. It is continually trying to heal. There is a wisdom of your body that's infinite. And it's sometimes more things like resistance and blocks and just negative associations around positive feelings and emotions that are much more in the way than the actual trauma, the actual core wounds. And so understanding why you feel resistance can help you so much, because the resistance can feel so big, right? It can feel so overwhelming, like it's almost a wave that crashes over you, and you can't really do anything. It feels rock solid. It feels like you're never going to get through it. You feel like you're never going to get around it. And what it does is it makes you feel like you just have to work harder, that you just have to push through, that you just have to get it together and do it. And that is not true. And it will make it only harder, because it will create more resistance to healing, and more resistance to get to resistance itself, which is, you can be the fear for the fear, you may know, but you can also have resistance to the resistance. And so that kind of compounds, and it makes it just so much harder than it has to be. Because I remember so well that when I was in the crash state and I was healing very hard, trying very hard, and I would hit resistance, everything in me said you just have to push through and you're not doing enough and you have to work harder, even though I sometimes try to heal for 10 hours a day. But pushing through never helped. Doing it on willpower never helped. So I will make a whole video on how to work through resistance while healing. But in this video, we are going to dive into why you have the resistance in the first place, because understanding it will already help you so much in being able to deal with it and handle it. So the first reason you feel resistance to healing the fearful avoidant attachment style is that you need to feel bad. When you've grown up with a fearful avoidant parent, which you probably did when you have the fearful avoidant attachment style yourself, you're used to having to feel bad in order to change your behavior or improve. And so whenever you feel like you're not there yet, whatever there is for you, you will make yourself feel bad. In order for you to keep improving. This might sound weird when I say it like this, but just see if you recognize that when you're trying to heal and things are actually going a little bit better, all of a sudden you're back to feeling bad, having to feel bad about yourself, about what you're doing, about why you're not there yet. And that need to feel bad can cause resistance to healing, because your fear brain, that part of your brain that tries to protect you, says, well, when you're healed, you're not feeling bad anymore, but you need to keep improving. And there's this belief underlying it that when you're healed, or when you feel good, that you won't want to heal anymore, that you won't, or that you don't want to grow anymore. You don't have to heal then. But you don't want to grow anymore. You don't want to expand anymore. And that's not true, because growing and expansion is just human nature. And you don't need fear, or you don't need to feel bad in order to do that. So the feeling bad, um, it may be that you're not even very aware of it, because I remember that I just used to feel this 24/7 because I wouldn't allow myself to feel good. And that's actually also the second reason you feel resistance, is because you don't feel worthy of feeling good, or letting things be easy. It feels like you have to work for it. You have to prove that you're worthy of it. And that comes when your parent had that mindset of, my kid needs to feel bad in order to change behavior, in order to be a better person. And it could actually be that they really were well intended with that. They just wanted you to be prepared for the world and be a good person. But there's so much there that I could unpack. But it made you feel like you are a bad person, or you need to feel bad in order to change, in order to keep healing. And that creates this self-perpetuating loop where you feel bad, and because you feel bad, you feel like you have to heal. But you're healing, but then as soon as you start to feel better, you're back to feeling bad, because if you don't feel bad, you won't heal more. And so you just keep kind of getting stuck in this loop, and resistance gets thrown into that loop. When it starts to get better, you start hitting resistance when you start feeling better, because there's this belief that you need to feel bad. And so you get thrown back into feeling bad, and you feel resistance to further heal, and actually getting to a place of being healed. The third reason why you feel resistance is that healing is an unfamiliar destination. And this is one that gets underestimated so much, because the fearful avoidant attachment style, out of all the attachment styles, views everything, including the healing journey, through a lens of fear and therefore safety. So the fear brain, that part of your brain that wants to protect you, that's what I started calling it when I was going through the crash date and trying to make sense of what was happening. The fear brain is trying to keep you safe. It's trying to protect you. It is not interested in you being happy, you feeling good. It just wants to keep you safe. And the way that it does that is partly by keeping you in a situation that it knows, that you know. Being healed sounds amazing. Feeling good sounds amazing. But when there's negative associations around that, that's scary. But even apart from that, being healed feels like a different destination, like a different world. And then your fear brain says, well, I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know what we're going to feel. I don't know what we're going to encounter. Are we going to be okay? Because the situation we're in right now might not be ideal, but at least we know what to do. At least I know how to handle it. It's kind of like I've been trained for this. I know that when I even subconsciously do these things, these are usually the reactions that I get. And I may not be happy with those, but I know what to expect. And so when being healed is an unfamiliar destination and feels like an unfamiliar destination, you will feel resistance to healing the fearful avoidant attachment style. And the more you kind of make it feel very different almost than where you are now being healed, the more that will come into play, the more resistance you will feel. So getting a very clear picture of what it looks like to be healed, getting a very clear picture of that destination and what it looks like, that will help so much with this specific reason why you feel resistance, which in and of itself can cause you to always keep healing, but never getting to a place of being healed, which are two very different things. As a fearful avoidant, you're used to working really hard. You're used to efforting. You're used to struggling. And so healing there's a lot in there that feels good, but actually getting to a place of being healed, that is unfamiliar, because that would mean things would go easy, and you would actually arrive, and then you don't have to work anymore and prove and perform. So that in and of itself is going to feel unfamiliar to your system, to your fear brain. Then the fourth reason is that you may have the idea that you have to live up to expectations. When you have the belief that when you have all the energy and you're happy and you're doing good, that you then have to be at the service of everyone around you and help everyone that you can help, not being healed and struggling actually becomes a very good reason why you can't do that. I remember so well that I felt like me struggling was almost a safety blanket to not have to be at the service of everybody around me, and and help them with whatever they had, whatever problems they had, because I believe that if I could help them, I had to help them. I didn't have a choice. And when somebody expected something from me, I had to do it. I couldn't say no. So in order for me to heal, I had to learn how to put up boundaries and know that my time and energy is mine, even when I'm healed. And this can cause so much resistance. Just imagine you having this belief that when you've healed, then you have to be there for everyone else. Then you always have to help people. And it's almost like your own needs don't matter anymore. It makes so much sense that you then feel resistance to healing, right? Because being healed then sounds kind of like you're losing yourself. So it's so important to know what that destination looks like and feels like now, and what it will actually look like and feel like when you get there. And when you do that, it will become so much easier to get there, because you won't have so much resistance to it. And then the fifth reason you feel resistance is because you're not allowing it to be a process. There is a sense of urgency to this healing for you. You feel like you have to heal right now, and it has to be perfect right now, because you're already feeling like you're behind, like you're in a deficit, like you have to compensate constantly, and like you're not good enough as you are right now. And maybe you feel like you will only be good enough when you've healed. But being good enough and being worthy are innate. All the things you're struggling with right now are installed beliefs and installed fears, and we can uninstall those and install new ones. So the not allowing it to be a process creates so much pressure and so much urgency that it introduces resistance pretty much all the time. Constantly you're saying, I'm not where I should be yet. Why am I not where I should be? And that just makes a whole healing journey so much harder and longer. The more you can allow it to be a process, the faster the process goes. And that sounds counterintuitive or like a paradox, but it's because you take away the resistance. It's because you take away the pressure. And so you can be much more present with what just is right now, and then the next step, and then the next step, instead of almost demanding that things go faster than they are actually going, and feeling like it has to be perfect now. So resistance, there's so many more reasons to it, and it's so very valuable to know what your reason is for feeling resistance, because it feels hard, it feels overwhelming. It's not a fun feeling to have. I know it isn't, but you're not supposed to push through it. You need to understand why the resistance is there, and help your fear brain understand it. Help your fear brain understand what you need and what it needs to feel safe. That makes the biggest difference. And then when you when you don't have that resistance anymore, all of a sudden the path to actually being healed becomes much more smooth. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but it becomes much more smooth, and you're not wasting or spending time on pushing through resistance and inadvertently creating more resistance through that. You're focusing on the actual core wounds and the deepest roots, and you're healing those. And because of that, it just goes so much faster. So this is what we also do in Healed and Happy. We spend time on releasing the things and healing the things that actually keep you from healing, which speeds up the process so much more. So these are just 5 reasons, and I'm curious whether you recognize these and what it's like for you when you feel that resistance. Please let me know in the comments below, because I always love hearing from you. And I will make a video on how to work through resistance when it comes up. It's probably going to be the video that comes out next week, so stay tuned for that. As always, I am so happy you are here, and I will see you in the next one. Healed and Happy is a tailor-made online program where me and my team personally guide you through healing the roots of the fearful avoidant attachment style.